the difference between cleaning and sanitizing? Cleaning is the same as washing and rinsing. Washing and rinsing gets rid of the leftover food and grease. Sanitizing kills the germs. Items need to be washed, rinsed, and sanitized after every use, and sometimes more often. Utensils that are used for serving or cutting all day should be cleaned at least every 4 hours. In order to wash the dishes by hand, you need a 3-compartment sink, which is one large sink area with 3 sinks in it. 3 compartments are needed so that you can wash, then rinse, and also sanitize the dishes and utensils. There are 4 steps to make sure that the dishes, silverware, cooking utensils, and other food contact surfaces are safe to use. The 4 steps should be done in this order because if done incorrectly, germs might survive and people could get sick. Step 1 is dishwashing. Dishwashing is a very important part of food safety. After you scrape all of the food and trash off of the dish, wash it in hot 100-degree Fahrenheit water. This will take place in the first compartment of the 3-compartment sink. You can use regular dish soap and some sort of tool that will help you scrub the dish like a brush or a cloth. Step 2 is to rinse with warm water in the 2nd compartment to remove all soap and bubbles from the dish. After the dish is rinsed, it should be placed in the 3rd compartment for Step 3. Step 3 is sanitization. The 3rd compartment should be filled with water and one of the approved sanitizers, either chlorine bleach, quaternary ammonia, or iodine. The dish should be placed under the sanitizer water for 30 to 60 seconds, depending on what type of sanitizer you are using. If you're using 100 parts per million concentration of chlorine bleach, you will need to soak the dishes for 30 seconds. For 200 parts per million concentration of quaternary ammonia, the dishes should soak for 60 seconds. If you're using 25 parts per million concentration of iodine, the dishes should soak for 60 seconds. If you sanitize using hot water at 171 degrees Fahrenheit, the dishes should soak for 30 seconds. Step 4 is air drying. After the dishes have been washed, rinsed, and sanitized, they should be air dried and then put away. Do not use a dish towel to dry them or you might recontaminate the dishes. No matter which method you use to sanitize the dishes, you will need to use testing strips to show that the dishes are getting sanitized. There are special testing strips to use with the different kinds of sanitizers. When they are dipped into the sanitizer solution, the strip will change color depending on how much sanitizer is in the water. The testing strips for chlorine sanitizers start out white and change to a bluish purple. You can compare the color to the key on the side of the container. This will tell you how much sanitizer you have in the water. The chart below shows that chlorine sanitizer should measure 100 parts per million, or ppm. That means for every million parts of water, you would add 100 parts of chlorine. This is about 1 capful of bleach for every gallon of water. At 100 parts per million, chlorine sanitizer will kill bacteria. If the reading on the strip is lower than 100 ppm, then you will need to add more sanitizer. If it is higher than 100 ppm, then you should add more water. Keep testing the water until you get the right mix of water and sanitizer. The strips for quaternary ammonia and iodine sanitizers can be used the same way. Follow the chart to make sure you have the right amount every time you set up the sanitizer solution. Some places have machines that will automatically wash, rinse, and sanitize the dishes. Dish machines are pretty easy to use, but they still need attention. Some dish machines use chemical sanitizers, similar to those we talked about for hand washing dishes. Other dish machines use very hot water to sanitize dishes. These high-temperature dish machines should have some type of built-in thermometer to measure the temperature of the water. When it reaches the plate, the water should measure 160 degrees Fahrenheit. Dish machines need to be checked every day to make sure they are working. It is best to check the machine in the morning before any dishes are run through it. That way, if there's a problem, you can fix it before the machine is used. For high-temperature dish machines, you will need to test that the water is reaching at least 160 degrees Fahrenheit in order to sanitize the dishes. This temperature can be measured with disposable heat strips that look like stickers but change color when they get hot. Dishes and silverware aren't the only things that need to be cleaned. Floors, walls, ceilings, equipment, and shelving all need to be kept clean and in good repair. If it is used daily, it should be cleaned daily. Some things even need to be cleaned every 4 hours. Make sure that you are cleaning in those hard-to-reach areas underneath, behind, and above shelving and equipment. Don't forget the restrooms and trash areas. Bacteria can live there too. It's a good idea to keep a schedule of cleaning so that nothing is left out. There are some things that are too large to fit in the sink or in the dish machine. These items must be taken apart and cleaned where they are. For instance, the mixer is too large to fit in the dishwashing sink, but it breaks down into smaller pieces that will fit. The process will follow all of the same steps that we talked about earlier. First, it should be washed in place with soap and hot water. Take a bucket of soap and water and a cloth right over to the area where that large piece of equipment sits. Then the equipment should be rinsed in place by using a clean, wet cloth to remove the soap. Sanitizing in place is a snap. Just fill a spray bottle with a mixture of sanitizer and water, test it with a test strip to make sure it's the right amount, and then spray the sanitizer on the surface of the piece of equipment. Don't forget to let it air dry so the sanitizer can do its job. As a food worker, you will probably use wiping cloths from time to time. These cloths are used to wipe down counters, tables, or food prep surfaces. Using wiping cloths is fine as long as they are used for one purpose only and stored correctly to prevent bacteria from growing. After a cloth has been used, it should be stored in the sanitizer solution. If not, each cloth should be tossed into the laundry hamper right after it is used. No matter if the sanitizer is used to hold wiping cloths or to sanitize dishes, it needs to be changed out from time to time. The sanitizer will get used up and there will be nothing left to kill the bacteria. Test it often. If the testing strip shows that the sanitizer level is too low, it should be drained and replaced with a fresh mixture. If there's not enough sanitizer in the bucket, you're left with a bunch of dirty water with lots of germs to spread around.